The Samsung Galaxy S24 is Samsung's latest base flagship smartphone. Pixel 8a is Google's latest mid-ranger, or around that mid-range price point smartphone at $499. And by the end of this video, you're going to know which one comes out on top and how well this Pixel 8a stacks up next to an Android flagship. Alright, so let's go ahead and begin this test with a boot up in 3, 2, and go, and see which one can get there first. Now, historically, the Pixel has been the faster booting device that I've found in my tests, and I do expect it to either be very close or boot up faster today than the Galaxy, and it does. So the Google Pixel 8a is ready to get in faster than that of the One UI 6.1 for the Galaxy S24. And during this video, both phones are running Android 14 on their latest security patches. Now, there are in beta already for Android 15, but for this video, we're gonna stay on the official softwares, as those aren't official softwares just yet. And if we go into Geekbench, you're gonna see right here, we do have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 that's going up against Tensor G3 over here. Pay attention to those cores right there. You can see that it's spread out more on 4 clusters for the Snapdragon, but those clock speeds is what I want you to really take a look at. You see the clock speeds are higher than that of the Pixel on the Samsung. So we'll see if that plays into the actual performance later. In terms of the biometrics here, we do have ourselves face unlock on both, but we'll start with the fingerprints. And you can see, I find that the fingerprint is a little bit more accurate for the Samsung. I do have a screen protector on the Pixel that could be messing it up, but it just it's a little bit more consistent for me, but both of them are pretty good. And if we go over here to the face unlock for the Samsung, you just look to go right in, and then over here on the Pixel, you also look to go right in, with the Pixel giving you maybe a nicer looking animation, just kind of has a little fly-in effect, whereas it seems like Samsung just kind of goes right in, doesn't really give you anything too visually pleasing right there. What's nice about the Pixel is, even though it has thicker bezels than some other phones, and that's not really going to be a problem for a lot of people, I do find that 120 Hertz really nice. I love that it has a 120 Hertz. And the Samsung just super smooth with its 120 Hertz. They've really been cleaning up the One UI. It feels pretty smooth pretty much most days of the week. I still find like the vanilla version of Pixel to kind of fly along a little faster, but the smoothness of One UI is really kind of surpassing at this point. It's really doing quite well. All right, so we've arrived at the application test, the area people think that's the only portion of the speed test, but it's not. We'll start with calendar. Stay tuned longer. If you guys want to see RAM management, that was faster on Google. If you want to see RAM management, you want to see benchmarks, stay tuned longer in the video. This is only one section of the video. And you'll see so far in base apps, they're both basically opening around the same time. We'll go into Play Store. Faster for the Samsung over there. Games, faster for the Samsung. Back to apps, pretty much the same once loaded. Let's go into X or Twitter. And we'll go over here to my profile page. Over here, and we'll take a look at my last video, the iPhone 15 Pro Max versus the iPad M4. Also, I noticed there's a little more choppiness on the scroll for the Pixel. I don't know what that is, like an optimization thing. I'm not sure. Let's go over here to my page, and you'll see as I scroll, very, very nice here, scrolling through on both. So you can definitely do good performance on Pixel 8a as well. eBay, very good. With Gemini built in, this is one of the lower price phones you'll get with Gemini built in, but Gemini is now able to be downloaded. That's faster on the right on even products that aren't, high end. So Gemini is coming to most Android phones. So let's go into Starbucks. You could see to the left, we'll go into Jetpack Joyride. And is this gonna load faster on the Pixel? Nope, not today. So the Samsung takes the lead. And if you're wondering why the Samsung screen might look better, it's because I have their anti-glare screen protector on. And let me tell you, anti-glare screen protector looks amazing on this phone. And it also already has anti-glare properties. Let's go into Groupon. Not as good as the S24 Ultra, but we weren't ready there on Groupon. You know what, let's go ahead and run Groupon again. But it's still pretty good with that screen protector. Let's go into Groupon. Now you can see faster for the Samsung. Overall, once in the application, scrolling looks better on the Samsung. I don't know why the Pixel has some chop sometimes. Let's go to Amazon. And we'll have to skip the sign in here. Scrolling pretty good on both. Let's go into Subway Surf. And yeah, the Samsung taking the lead. Yeah, definitely in games. So if you want a game, all the S24s are going to be the better options for sure. S24 on the left. Man, if you guys could see the difference between this anti-glare screen protector, it's insane. Let's go into Temple Run. It really makes the whole phone look like more saturated, a little bit less, you know, just less glare. It just looks better. I don't know how to describe it. You have to see it in person versus a base phone without any of those properties. Let's go over here. But you could probably buy anti-glare type screen protectors for any phone, really. If you just look for them on Amazon or whatever. Let's go ahead and get up out of here. And okay, so let's pop into Free Fire here and see which one can do this faster. And you can see the Samsung jumping out in the lead once again. And there is the Pixel coming very close. Faster for the Samsung. So yeah, Samsung is gonna definitely take the win here when it starts getting serious. All right guys, so let's go into PUBG Mobile now and just kind of see how they perform. And you'll see PUBG does require a little bit more power, definitely to launch. And the Samsung is definitely going to take the win here. It's already in the lead, way in the lead already. So once you start really taxing the power of these phones, you'll see that the Samsung will jump out in front by a substantial margin, while we're still waiting for the Pixel 8a. Again though, in the regular stuff though, it didn't seem like the Pixel was hardly any slower, just when you really start pushing it in the game. But with the Pixel size, are you really buying this for gaming? That's the question. I don't think many are. You'll see right there, faster on the left, they're probably just buying this for a phone. You could just trade in an old iPad, or you could get a Pixel tablet for cheaper if you want to do some more of that stuff. You can see right there, faster on the left. So overall, I would say the Samsung won it out here, by not by as much as I thought. I thought it was going to blow the doors off the Pixel 8a with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, but in real world practice day to day, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 reminds me of the A series chips for iPhones. You got to push them in the video editing, rendering, stuff like that to really see the power. With the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3s, you have to kind of like push them as well to get the max power out of them, because day-to-day stuff, a lot of these processors, even Tensor, can handle this day-to-day Android stuff just fine. And it definitely has some built-in AI stuff, which might make it a little bit better for AI processing, you know, so there is some benefits to the Pixel as well. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop in between these applications as fast as I can, and I do think I have good lock turned off for this test. Let's go into Amazon, Groupon. Samsung is doing really well in this department. We do have 8 gigs of RAM on board, so not a full 12 like we do have on the S24 Plus, and I plan to cover the S24 Plus again soon. I've been using that as my main phone lately actually, because I feel like I wasn't given enough fair props, but the Samsung here did basically flawless on the RAM management. Let's see how the Pixel does though. I do like the way the animations look on Pixel, but for this phone, the phone's a little bit choppy in certain situations, very, very minor, but it looks slightly unoptimized to me. Like it needs just a little bit more refinement, a few polished updates. I think it'll be game over. This phone will be one of the smoothest mid-rangers out there. So I think this is really pressuring Apple to bring an iPhone SE update, this Pixel A line of phones. Apple really needs to bring something like this for the SE line. But right now, was that a reload on the clock? I'm not even kidding. Was that? Pixel did pretty good for a phone of this price point. I think it did pretty darn good there in this RAM management. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and do a quick internet test. Let's go into the Samsung.com. You can see that was a little faster for the left when scrolling through. Let's go ahead and pop into a page. How about tablets? Well, I don't see tablets on the left. Let's see. How about for business? Let's do some business today. Let's do the tablets right there. About the same. Not a big difference there. Scrolling through. Let's go to the Google store now. I'm going to go to the Google store now here on both phones. And you can see faster. Ooh, that was faster on the right. It looked like for the Pixel. What is your favorite color of the Pixel 8a right here? Let me know your thoughts down below. You could see faster on the left. So they trade. Depends on when you're clicking it. Certain elements of the website might load first on one side over the other, but generally just kind of scrolling through. Both OLED displays, both are 120 hertz, both very smooth, very nice displays on both phones right here. Although there is very, very thin bezels on the Samsung though. Do keep that in mind. This is dynamic AMOLED 2X as well. It can get much brighter than this phone on the right. So for judging based on this test alone, it's already over 1513 single, 5804 multi. We're still waiting here on the right while it's running structure for motion, and just took much longer, as you can see, to finish out this test. You can see though on the single core, take a look at that. That is very strange. The Pixel actually won in the single core. This shows that this is why in those base apps when we were just regular doing stuff, it was fine. The tensor is really decent. You could see right here on the multi-core score, a big jump there for the Samsung. And this exactly reflects what I was talking about. How when you really push it in the multitasking and stuff, the Samsung will win. But you could see for this regular day-to-day, the Pixel actually scored higher. But let's see if that was a fluke. We're gonna go ahead and run a 3D Mark Extreme test. And we'll see if the graphics tell a big different story here in this 1 minute demanding test. I will be back when these things are done running their benchmarks, and we'll see the frames per second and stuff like that and how much better than other devices each performs. All right, and the final scores are in for the Geekbench, or for the Wildlife Extreme, excuse me. You can see 4313 with an average frame rate of 25.83 FPS. So this score is better than 36% of Galaxy S24 models, but better than 90% of other devices on the market. That is very good, beat by the iPad, which was better than 98%. We're going to do the S24 Ultra soon versus iPad Pro M4. But you'll see we have ourselves 14.48 FPS, so 10 FPS less there for the Pixel. And I actually got a better score the other day, as you can see, 2427, but right around that 2400 mark. And you can see scoring better than 50% of other devices on the market. So while this is not the best, it's better than 50% of other devices on the market for 50% less price. So I still think it's pretty decent here for the Pixel. And I think at 14 FPS, you're going to be able to play most games pretty well. Maybe not at max graphics, max settings, whereas you can probably push the Samsung a little bit harder on the max settings. The Pixel for the price, I think, is pretty respectable, that performance right there. All right, so let's go ahead and launch the cameras. We'll use that Pixel box as a picture. We'll go into cameras. See, faster on the left. Let's do that again to see if it was a fluke. 3, 2, go. And we'll do it again. That looked about the same. 3, 2, go. Now faster on the Samsung, could be my thumb. Let's do it again. 3, 2, go. Samsung looks a little faster to launch. In terms of the shutter, there is a slower processing sometimes for the Pixel photos because it does some AI stuff. But overall, I generally like the way the Pixel photos look. You know, just the pure photography, just because of the way it processes them. They just look freaking amazing. I also like the front-facing camera way more on the Samsung and the versatility of the cameras. So yeah, the S24 versus the Pixel, while not a direct comparison in terms of the price category, if you wanted to save yourself a couple $100s and go with the Pixel 8a, it's not too bad. And by comparison to something like an S24, it's not too far behind. It is behind it, but not like way behind it like you might have thought. It's pretty solid for the money. Let me know your thoughts on this down below. The Pixel 8a is the new kid on the block. That's why I tend to be talking about it more. or the Samsung S24. What do you think of that so far? You still want to get one? Are you going to pass that one, wait for the S25, go with S23? Let's hear it down below in the comments. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.